honestly, you are not lazy or untalented, you are just unlucky. Because personally, and I know a lot of creators can relate to this, especially small creators that are just coming up or starting out. I've always believed that we are limited to so many life-changing opportunities just because of how Africa is perceived. You start out content creation, you come across other creators telling you to be consistent, put in quality videos, put in the time, put in the work, and you are doing all of that and you're not seeing any results. That can be really, really painful. And I've come to the conclusion that as an African creative or creator, we are going to have to struggle or work at least 4 times as hard as other creators. It is so painful, so crippling to see that I have so much to give, so much to offer, so much potential as a creator, and I put in the work, but I am limited to the resources that I have access to. Now, in the foreign eyes of the foreign world, in their perspective, you can see the expressions of blatant discrimination, and this discrimination is not really racial. It's not more the racial discrimination, it's more a social discrimination. It is more where we are ranked as Africa in the social strata, where or how we are categorized in like the social structure, the social ladder, from countries that are more developed, more influential. We have continents that are more influential, we have continents that are more developed, and you see the blatant discrimination because of where we as Africans, where we as continents are placed. Like, we are literally at the bottom of the ladder, we are literally at the bottom of whatever social strata or social structure there is. That literally affects us as creators. And this might sound silly, but a good example of this is the foreign apps that we have access to. Take, for example, CapCut. Well, I think I've seen this with CapCut. I've seen this with many Asian apps, KineMaster, Spring, and CapCut. They give us lower prices and less access to advanced features. Maybe they think we can't afford it. And another good example of this, call me paranoid or call me silly, but I feel like another good example of this is like the social media platforms that we are in. I've literally noticed, because I've been consistent and I've been very observant since I started content creation. I notice, and please, I stand to be corrected. If I'm wrong, please do call me out. But I feel like content from other countries, content from people of other nationalities, from other continents, are pushed out more than content from Africans. Because tell me why you could see a video that an African creator has just worked on. You can see the effort, you can see the creativity, you can see the burst of creativity, you can see the effort put in. You can literally see that these videos are made, this creator is like on point. You will notice that when you check their engagement, you see that it is not as much as a creator, it is not as much as an up-and-coming creator that is from another country, that is not necessarily an African creator. I don't know if you get me. Also, add to the fact that as a creator, definitely you aspire to work with brands, with manufacturers, with Nigerian companies. But the problem is, these Nigerian companies, manufacturers, brands, they don't quite understand the concepts and impacts of social media and technology. And I'm talking specifically about user-generated content, UGC. I've seen a lot of complaints from African creators, like more specifically, on how creators will reach out to brands and tell them of their aspirations to work with them. And then some brands are so unprofessional. Some brands, especially in Nigeria, are so unprofessional, and they feel like you are just asking for free products, which is not it most of the time. These creators genuinely want to work with these brands because they feel like there's something that they add to these brands. But in Nigeria, we don't quite get the impact of social media influencing, customer awareness through user-generated content. That lack of information, that ignorance fuels the hostile and unprofessional behavior of brands towards creators, especially smaller creators. Now, the reason I can speak on this is because UGC was like the very first niche that I chose when I wanted to start content creation, and I still kind of aspire to, because I really love product review. I love doing product reviews. I still do product reviews on my YouTube channel. I love doing product reviews. I love talking about tech. but I face a lot of difficulty because there's a difference when you are applying to work with a brand, that understands the impact of already knows what user generated content is and understands the impact of social media and customer awareness through UGC. Why they need UGC rather than if you compare it to a brand where you have to explain to them what UGC is and how UGC can impact. So it might not necessarily be a bad thing, but foreign brands tend to have or seem to have an appreciation for creators and treat them as such. Now I understand because the concept of UGC has not been popularized in Nigeria. So basically, UGC creators have to deal with explaining the concepts to Nigerian brands, and sometimes it leads to condescending, derogatory replies and responses from these brands. This is just one of the many difficulties that African creators, specifically in Nigeria, face. But I'm sure it applies to most African countries, especially in West Africa. As an up-and-coming creative in this country, you need to have another source of income. Just until you are able to monetize content creation to the point where it can take care of most of your needs. Because if you are starting out, I understand the place of taking risk. I work in 9 to 5 and also do content creation, obviously, and I've so many times be conflicted, as I've so many times thought about quitting my job to give my all, to work full time as a content creator and see where that gets me. And I know it's definitely going to bring in rewards. But so far, since I started content creation, I've tried to be consistent. So far, I've tried to post on the platforms that I post in at least once or twice a week. At least I know on TikTok I post up to 3 to 4 times in a week. On Instagram I post up to 10 times. I think I post up to more than 10 times in a month on Instagram. And the traction, I'm not getting the traction that I thought I get. And I understand definitely I'm not coming creative, but it definitely does not like these challenges, these difficulties. I don't see other creators facing these difficulties. So I definitely feel that it's definitely because of my education. Yes, understand the place of taking. So going back to what I said, I understand the place of taking risks, going all in, putting your job, to do this thing, to do content creation full time. But the reality of it is that if you don't have that financial support, if you don't have somewhere else that money is coming in constantly, you're going to struggle as a content creator. So basically, this video is just telling you that you don't need to quit your 9 to 5. You don't need to quit your 9 to 5 if you're working in 9 to 5 and you see content creators living the life that you wish to live. They're going on brand trips, they're receiving payout packages even without asking you. You must understand the place that you are as an up-and-coming creative in Nigeria, especially in Africa, and try to balance it side by side. And when content creation starts giving you the traction that you desire, you can quit. A lot of people have built brands, businesses while still working their 9 to 5 jobs, and I believe it's possible. For me, especially as a young, very, very young creative, my 9 to 5 offers me that financial stability. I'm sure that I have this amount of money coming with it, but hopefully we are going to get the traction. So thank you for watching this rant, and see you in my next video. Bye.